Hello, I'm Marcus V. Calvert, and welcome to Tales Unlimited, the disturbing thought of the day. mm, Fantasy world. Uh, there's this war. It was fought and led upon by soldiers, but the serious mega weapons were, of course, the mages. Well, somebody lost a town to like a handful of mages. Okay, it's like their village is where they grew up, where they loved. It was their family's been there for generations, and a couple of mages come along and just blow it off the map during the course of this war, just as a strategic advantage. Like, okay, there are troops there. We don't want to go in there and fight them. We don't have the resources. Send three mages. Boom. So one of the survivors gets into magic too. So okay, I can't become a mage. I don't have like that kind of time to learn, and I don't have the natural affinity, but I can learn me some alchemy. So this person digs and digs and digs for like something that kills mages, and what he no no let's make it a she. What she finds is something called Godfire. And what is Godfire? It is a plague so vile that there are only like two scrolls of it, and it's rumored that one of them was burned. So she finds through maybe questing. This could actually be a novel, just questing and looking and killing and hooking and crooking and anything. I mean, she will do anything to get this scroll, and she does it. She does things her younger self would never have thought of doing, but she finally gets it. And she puts the recipe together and she drinks this potion and she basically walks into a room full of mages, and she walks into a room full of people who would be anywhere near mages and just walks away. Now, if you're a regular person, no problem. You're not affected. Your kids will be infected. They'll be carriers, but that's it. But anyone who has magic in their veins, um, even this is the problem. It mainly targets mages, but it targets everybody who has any hint of magic in their blood. It targets monsters. It targets clerics. It targets the relatives of deities who might be part mortal. If you have magic in your blood, you're screwed, because this stuff basically sucks all the magic out of you, sucks all the ambient magic that basically pervades this world, and when it hits critical mass, it will explode. No symptoms, no warning, except right before you die, you feel like, oh God, I have it. it, it spreads like wildfire. It spreads like Godfire. And the only real cure is to make her recant it. So she basically kills herself, puts a knife through her own heart. She's dead. So this thing runs forth. So it starts to spread at a certain point. It starts to run rampant. And I don't know how you'd even solve it or resolve it, but it is the sticking point of a novel series, wouldn't you say? Maybe half of it is just simply she the search for it is the push of it. Her relentless drive for revenge, even as she meets cool mages, even as a healing cleric saved her life, even as she comes across benign mystical like dwarves and elves would die from this. She's like, I don't care. I don't care. Kill all the mages. I don't care. And even as she's dying, maybe at the end of this story, she's like, I don't care. I will never stop until every mage in this world is dead. I am so sorry. I actually like you guys. You're actually quite cool, but die well. Stick. Now, can you find a solution to that? To this mess? Without it being too cheesy. I'm not going to go there. I'm just covering a disturbing thought, and that is it. Okay, I'm Marcus V. Calvert, and this is Tales Unlimited. Please check out talesunlimited.net. That's where the podcasts are. Two of them. They kick off every day. What are they called? Well, there's the Battery Daily Prompt and a disturbing thought of the day. They're worthy. Also, there are book links on the website. They'll take you straight to Amazon, where print and ebooks are available. Well, what are these books? Well, there's the Battery series. Think 200 writing prompts per book and a little wisdom on how to write that first novel for people who may have wasted years of their lives trying to write that first novel without a system. Well, the Battery system, it's pretty straightforward. If you can go through it, get to the end, you'll be able to start your business, sell books, make money, build your fan base while you're working on your first novel. How's that? And then on top of that, there is, let's just say there are 200 unusual writing prompts, which is good for storytellers of any stripe, whether you're an evil GM, short story writer, game designer, comic book writer, screenwriter, grizzled novelist who's written a ton of books. Take an idea, spin it your way, go wild. Who knows what you might end up with? Bestseller, hint, hint. Also, there are anthologies, 2 of them. Both of them are 25 stories apiece. Think New School Twilight Zone. The themes are Unheroic's about unlikely heroes saving the day. Book of Schemes is about schemes. So for Unheroic, for example, it's a story called The Morning Paper. What if you're a perfectly normal human kid who's living in a house with a supervillain and a superhero? Basically, your parents. They're actually in the know on who they are. And they actually work together. A hero and a villain under the same house, happily married. But since you don't have any powers, they can't tell you. And the morning paper is about some fight they had last night in a museum. It was a theft, well orchestrated. And then the Book of Schemes, twisted, diabolical, silly. Oof. Well, in this case, something will break. What happens if your imaginary friend gets you arrested for murder because he doesn't like your father-in-law? Not one bit. And then there's the novel series. Think Sin City with Superpowers. The series is called I, Villain, by the way. It takes place about a year after a superhero apocalypse. Basically, all the villains gang up on the heroes and wipe them out. And one of the people who participated is a villain. His name is Benjamin Clyde, gentleman fixer, dude in a suit. He is a bad guy who will supply mercenaries for whatever you need. Doesn't matter what side of the law you're on. He'll work for the Vatican. He'll work for demons. He'll work for cops. He'll work for terror cells. He'll work for private individuals. No sin's too great or too small for this guy, as long as the money's right or whatever form of payment you wish to offer. He's doing fine until one night a deal goes bad and he tries to do damage control and he ends up getting horrifically screwed. He loses his multi-billion-dollar empire in one night. No more mercs, no more cash, no more status as a crook. Worse, he is forced to fight crime. Personally fight crime in a place that's arguably the superhuman crime capital of the world. No, screw that. It is the superhuman crime capital of the world. His life expectancy is a carton of milk, right? Well, guess what? He doesn't tell anybody about his Black Ops past and his powers, and that's a good thing, or they might have killed him that night. And as it turns out, he doesn't just survive. He doesn't just thrive. He starts a new business wherein, well, since there aren't any heroes really around, he takes over the world-saving game the way a villain would. All right, I'm Marcus V. Calvert, and this is Tales Unlimited. See you tomorrow.